Hey, thank you, Colin, for asking about my books. So I used to support Mercy Ministries. They aren't in Australia anymore. I'm not sure if they're still going over there. And they support young girls who've run into some trouble and help bring them out of that. And I read their stories and I wondered what would have happened. This girl looked like she had a pretty okay upbringing, and then she just ends up in this dark, dark place. And and it almost came to me like a dream, like a vision from the Lord, to write about this girl called Stephanie. And that became Spiraling Out of Control, which is this book here. And then I wanted to know, so Stephanie, she moves interstate. She wanted a career in dancing. She just drops into depression when she moves interstate, doesn't make friends in the new school, doesn't like the dancing in the new school, and ends up with this boy that takes her way over where nobody would want their daughter to be going. And she had this best friend, and I wanted to know more about Tabby, her best friend. So I wrote book two, which is it's a parallel. So Spiraling Out of the Shadow is a parallel to book one, and that's the journey of Tabby. Now Tabby, she finds herself in church, and then she finds herself praying for her friend. And she has her own struggles of wanting to be like her best friend, but wanting to find herself as well. And then after I wrote those two, I wanted to know what happened in the end. So that's why it's a trilogy. And Spiraling Solo is both the girls when they're kind of around that 17 years of age, and they come together, and their friendship is fractured because they're trying to work out the mess that they created. And Tabby's got a long distance relationship that has gone pear shaped. And Stephanie's got baggage that's from her past that she's dealing with. And it's a beautiful outworking of the two girls coming together. And every time I read the end, I cry. So I hope everyone else enjoys it too. So that's a little bit about those books. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. If I may, if someone was to read your books, what would you really like them to come away with? Whether they're a parent, whether they're a child,
Yeah.
whether they're someone the same age as your heroines.
So I wrote it with the thought that everyone is one decision away from going down the wrong path. And that path can be corrected at any time with making one decision that's going to lead you back. And so, any young person reading it to know that they can make another decision. Today's a fresh day. You can come back into the better path. Anyone else reading it that is leading a great life and having it, everything's wonderful, have your eyes open for the person who's on the edge and show grace, and let's just let them know they're loved and they can come back in and their sins are forgiven and they're loved. That's pretty much what I want people to see through reading the books. That's my hope. And
Really
that people
appreciate you.
are kept awake at night because they're page turners.
Mm.
I like hearing, I couldn't put it down. Yeah. So YA contemporary, and they're at Barnes and Noble. They're on Amazon. At the moment, they are just a physical book, not ebook. Hoping my publisher comes out with an ebook soon. And I hope you enjoy them. So thank you for asking me that.
So many questions to ask. I would love to know what you're going to be writing next. Do you have any plans, any projects?
So I actually have a novella that I'm working on, and it's Stephanie's little sister. She was the pesty little sister, a little 10-year-old in the first book. Now she's grown up, and I wanted to know what happened to her too. So, of course, I had to write her story. It's not as long. And we also then get a snippet into after book three. So we get a snippet into the future a little bit more with that one when I bring that out. And I'm working on a novel. I think I'll call it Follow. And it's about two teenagers. It's based here on the Gold Coast of Australia, and they find themselves going to parties and smoking pot on every Thursday night, which is something they've never done and they've just started doing it. And because one of them's chasing a boy, and they turn up hungover, and there's a youth group putting on a breakfast at school. And one of them becomes really good friends with the leader, but the leader might not be all she says she is. And it's about, well, who do you follow? When do you follow them? What do you follow? So
That
I'm
sounds
actually having a lot
interesting.
of fun writing that one. They're in chaos. They got to get out of their chaos sometime soon.
It does sound like you've fallen for the trap which pretty much every writer I know has fallen into. But I want to know their story.
I want to know their
I want to
story.
know their story. Yes, it will
I,
spawn countless books.
I have to know. I see
Yeah.
somebody. That's where I get all my ideas from. I see someone and go, how did you end up there? How did you make that decision? What? And now I got to write it. I'll create it for you. Mightn't be the one that they went through, but it's. And this book. Let me tell you about this book. This is actually the favorite book that I've written. It's called Sink, Drift, or Swim. And it's a verse novel. So it's written in verse, but it is a novel. And it's based on a true story of some friends. It was a dad and son went fishing and a storm came up and their boat sunk and not everybody made it home. And this is a dad and daughter story. That happens in this story. They go out in a boat and not everyone makes it back. So it's an outworking of a large messy family. Not that the real family was messy; they're a beautiful family, but this is a large messy family, and um, yeah, the being stuck out in the ocean for a couple of days and what that might look like. I love it. I devour it every time I read it.
Oh, it's so important that you enjoy your own work. That's something that, as an author, as a writer, I find to be absolutely imperative. If you can't enjoy your own work, then I think there's something wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And if it doesn't make me laugh or cry, and it's just kind of amusing, or then the reader's going to find it boring. Like it has to really have me emotional when I put it down for a month or two and pick it back up again.
Well, that's some really good advice right there.
Thank you. This has been fun, Colin.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
hanging out.
Always happy to.